Yo, what is good, my anime people? What's good, yo? Guys, it is about time Goblin Slayer drops something. And I'm gonna be straight up in front with you on this movie review real quick. Is this, I don't need to lie to y'all. And that's what's so fun about this channel. And what I will say about this Goblin Slayer movie is it was pretty obvious that everything coming with the territory was more or less just more Goblin Slayer, right? It just felt like, hey, did you like Goblin Slayer? Could you not wait until the second season? Okay, well here's Goblin Slayer. That's what it kind of felt like to me. That's not to say it in like a bad way either. It's the simple fact of the matter of it was pretty straightforward storytelling. It had the same kind of beginning up uphill battle that the first show had. You know, a little bit of everything of the first season. That's what, not the first show, the first season I meant, sorry. But everything from the first season was pretty much implemented in here. Smart tactics to take care of their enemies, thinking steps ahead by trying to, when he shot the poison arrow into the arm and made sure that if this person gets all the way to the camp, it will spread that poison to more of them. So these are all things that we've seen Goblin Slayer just implement over and over in certain ways. But until he actually puts forward, his plan, which, funny enough, he calls the Goblin Paladin like a straight up fool and all these different things. But at the end of the day, Goblin Slayer has learned so much about his enemies that they can learn just from one arrow in the tip head of the arrow not being on and sturdy. They took it and ran with it, and they shot a whole valley of them. I'm not sure if they were all poisoned, but that was the implication, that's why they were doing that, is where they were going at the end of the day. So these are the types of things that put you on guard when they can continuously showcase adaptation, and that's what kind of makes this story phenomenal. In the case of, they're making Goblin something that doesn't really need to be elaborated on as much as it has been in the show, but there's still dragons, there's still, orcs, there's all these other things, giant alligators, but because of the title, because of the character, because of the trauma, all of those things are background noise. And I think that's what people could probably start to forget, is it can totally do a Dragon Ball Z when it came down to, yes, I am Goku and I'm protecting the Earth, to all of a sudden, hi, I'm Goku and I just want to fight the strongest beings of all time, even if they're gods or whatever. And I think that's where this show could go if they ever wanted it. So they could straight up start fighting other monsters and whatnot more frequently, and then come to find out that at the top of the food chain are goblins because of their adaptations, and how ridiculous that they can start working with humans, they can start working with dark elves. They're not too foolish not to take some advice from outside species to better themselves, is the scarier part of these monsters, which is another reason why they're so cool in the case of how they're showcasing them as just these green guys that are usually the first monsters you encounter on, adventures, and you can easily take them out. But they made a whole show of them and practically made them some of the most scariest monsters in fiction, or at least anime, in the case of next to octopus, or like tentacles and stuff like that. So take that in as you will. This movie was pretty straightforward. I would love to say is it started in the snow. It ended watching like over where the farm is back from like season one. Like there's no huge ginormous gap and leap, so it almost feels like it's a safe movie for canon to kind of sit in. And like I said, it's just more Goblin Slayer being Goblin Slayer, so it feels like these are just what we should expect their teamwork, their camaraderie, their build up of saying a joke and it hits so perfectly because they've been around each other so much, all these different things that are going to pop off in the second season. This feels like it easily fills in just a gap of time if they want, or even if this girl shows up, we'll know for sure it's even canon. If she shows up anywhere and she already has her sword and she has short hair, you know what I mean? Like, they could always start where she doesn't have, like, lose her friends and stuff like that. But they would then have to tell us where it all happens and when this takes place and yada yada yada. So I would love to see season 2 of this show, but of course we gotta wait our due time. And this was, like I said, I really just wanted some more Goblin Slayer. I was about to say Demon Slayer. I just wanted more Goblin Slayer. I got more Goblin Slayer, and at the end of the day, it was a lot more of him just showcasing what he's really willing to do, maybe if he does carry these characteristics over into the anime more than not. Putting his life at risk for a sword that really doesn't have all that much meaning to him in the grand scheme of how he uses weapons. He cuts someone up 2 times and then chucks it. So it was cool to kind of see him maybe understand the sentimental value of a weapon to this person, but at the same time, he himself doesn't have this. So to go out of his way to, help someone that does was the kind of interesting aspect of it. So definitely looking forward to seeing more character growth out of him. The priest girl was always good. I thought the elf girl might be in some trouble, but of course they shouldn't be. Like, no one should have been in any kind of trouble if they're supposed to end up in the second season, and if this isn't even canon. So even if they all died, it wouldn't have mattered because the second season would do something completely different. But I digress. The Goblin Paladin was pretty cool, but he got taken care of relatively quickly when it came down to a one-on-one fight where his goblins couldn't interrupt and whatnot. So it's another showcase of how ridiculously combat-oriented and just skilled Goblin Slayer is, especially when no one's really worried about him. After he gets hit by an avalanche and he's buried under the snow, everybody's like, man, I hope he's okay, but it is Goblin Slayer, so it is his movie. He can't go out like that. Y'all saw the title. So it's funny to me that this movie just reinforces you to understand. Here's me summarizing it. Girl gets captured. Goblin Slayer takes mission with his crew to find said girl. Girl gets found in a place that isn't the actual the actual place that needs to be taken down and killed of all the goblins, but it's kind of a little side place that they go to. They get girl. She then gives a huge triumphant speech about how she's going to be capable of handling herself, which I may say she absolutely lived up to Goblin Slayer's expectations. He's like, oh yeah, I expected her to sooner or later freak out, probably kill one of the people we needed alive, and leave us in one of the worst situations possible. Yeah, this is going according to plan that I predicted. So it's those types of things that kind of make you hate a character instantly and don't give him a chance, but at the same time, they went through some ridiculously traumatic stuff, which some of the girls on here never, come back from. And this girl here, she is straight up getting up after waking up for the first time that we know of, and still trying to fight and do stuff in the case of not just being morally broken and an empty shell of oneself. So I give her respect there. But to mess up how many things she messed up was pretty messed up. Not to mention the fact that, God, he's just beating all my armor off, man. Not to mention the simple fact that she had that thing on her neck, and it kept like activating. She should have just left it how it was, you know. So these are the types of things that were kind of annoying when it came down to her character, but at the same time, it's like she's traumatized and she's still fighting through it. Plus, letting her go home alone, if any goblin scouts or anything were out there, she was dead. She was going to die. Like, sure, she could choke out one priest that didn't see it coming, but all fighting five of them, she was gonna start getting on her knees, start freaking out, screaming and stuff. So yeah, I don't think it would have ended too well for her. But overall, my anime, well, thank you so much for the support. Remember, subbing here and liking all that stuff is cool and all, but just to know that you guys even click on the video and watch a second of me is amazing and mind-blowing to me. Just me being a voice from, you know, maybe 2 years, 3 years ago starting this, and getting bigger and bigger with time passes, and I can only thank the people that have just stuck it in with me. So I'll keep grinding, I'll keep putting this stuff out, and thanks for even watching thanks for watching anything, man. To be just 100%, people that comment, y'all are the real ones that help me want to talk about everything that I just gone over and more, because you bring brighter ideas to me that I didn't even think of sometimes. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and let's get back to the grind of all these animes in the next day. So with that being said, take care everybody, and peace.